This dirtbag is 26-year-old Brett James, an FBI contractor who just pled guilty to production and receipt of child sexual abuse material, or what we call CSAM. The FBI and the Department of Justice just put out a release all about this situation, what he did, and that his sentencing is going to be in February of 2024. So let's talk about what he actually did to these kids, because understanding how they do what they do, how the kids react, is what's going to help us keep our kids safe. So as horrible as it might seem to read through these stories and to hear the details about what happened to these children from disgusting predators like him, it really is important so that we know how they do what they do, so that we can talk to our kids about the details and how to recognize it themselves, and also for us as parents and caregivers and medical providers to be able to recognize it in the kids that we care for. So this particular predator victimized several young boys in addition to buying CSAM material, which means all of those children that were in the material that he bought and used and watched, he victimized as well. So it's not only the children that are interacting with these predators that are victims. The details of his interactions with one of his victims, a 13-year-old boy, are really important to hear because they highlight very specific things that a lot of predators use to groom their victims. He met this 13-year-old boy on Valorant, a popular first-person shooter game, and then convinced him to play strip games on a video chat in Discord. Throughout these interactions, this predator threatened to kill himself if the boy did not continue to send him sexual content, and he also sent him money through Cash App in order to get him to continue to produce and send him other sexual content, photos, videos, that sort of thing. Just knowing these few details can really help us understand just how these child predators work. I don't know for a fact if he specifically let his victims know that he was an FBI contractor and there were other victims as young as 12 years old. But regardless, figures of authority are people who not only exploit children online in real life, but they use that authority as a means to gain control. 2, he started his interactions with this child on a popular video game where he knew that lots of children are. Predators always know where the kids are. And once he did part of his grooming process by gaining a relationship, he then had them switch over to a less monitored, easier platform for him, Discord. And that is where they did their video chats where they were doing their strip games. This is a very common tactic for online predators. As a matter of fact, greater than 80% of child predators that plan on sexually exploiting children start on social media because they're able to identify their targets there. The vast majority of them then move to a less monitored, less known website where they know either that the platform itself is not monitored as carefully or that the parents don't know anything about that particular platform. So if it is a parent who is monitoring their child's phone use, device use, they're not likely to look there. 3, he used threats of hurting himself, and he gave the child money to get what he wanted in return. So these are also very common tactics that you'll see not only just in general online child predators, but specifically in sextortion. They will threaten either to hurt themselves, they will threaten to hurt the child, they will threaten to hurt the child's friends or family, or they'll give them money, especially if they recognize that the child wants something specific. Say the child has been mentioning in their comments or in their interactions with this predator that they wanted a bike or they wanted to go to a concert. They will offer that money to be able to get the sexual content they want in return. And number 4, this predator had multiple victims. Not only did he have multiple victims that he threatened and groomed one-on-one to get them to produce CSAM material for him, but he also bought hundreds of CSAM videos and photos off of Telegram. Now, not only do we know that the vast majority of predators have met hundreds of victims because they tell us themselves once they are caught, but 23% of those children who report that they themselves have been victims of sexual exploitation online report that during their conversations, they had discussions about how many other kids were victimized by them as well. And we know that number is underreported because the number of children that actually report is underreported. So that's a lot of really helpful information just from this one story, which is exactly why I try to tell as many people as I can that you all need to be reading the details in these stories, no matter how difficult they can be to read. The amount of information in them and what we can learn from them to be able to teach our kids to keep them safe is huge. So read them. I'll read them with you. As they come up, we will be going through them so that you can use them to talk to your kids. I'm actually going to make some videos for kids themselves so that you can sit down with your kids and watch the videos that I'm doing and help spark that conversation. We need to be talking about this a lot more.